blames James Comey for the Russia investigation. He's never gotten over that. But this is the biggest example yet, and one of the most recent ones, probably not the last, of the retribution that President Trump campaigned on. And this is something that is really going to play out in an extraordinary way. The question is, though, this new U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, she's been a prosecutor now, I think, for like 4 days.
Yeah.
So how does this all unfold? We do not know. But this could resurrect James Comey, I guess, his view, how he's seen by some. But for President Trump, it's one more example of he's serious about prosecuting his enemies, and the retribution campaign is extensive.
And Elie Honig, walk us through what's going to happen next in this timeline. So the indictment has gone down. We still haven't seen the legal papers. We still don't know what the allegation is, so it's difficult for us to assess the quality of the charges, although we do know that the previous U.S. attorney who was fired last Friday, Eric Siebert, whose name, Eric Siebert, who is a conservative U.S. attorney who is bringing all sorts of immigration cases and the like. His father-in-law is an advisor to the conservative governor, Glenn Youngkin, former vice cop, respected conservative lawyer. He was fired, and one of the reasons we believe he was fired is because he would not bring these charges. I mean, President Trump was pretty transparent about that. So now Trump has put his handpicked U.S. attorney in there, acting U.S. attorney, Lindsay Halligan, who has no prosecutorial experience. She was an insurance attorney who then worked on the Trump defense during the classified documents case. She was in the White House working on trying to figure out what was too woke for the Smithsonian, and then all of a sudden finds herself in this job. What happens now?
So the next step will be an in-court appearance by Jim Comey. It will be an arraignment, probably in front of the assigned district court judge. It's a fairly routine procedure. They will make sure that he has counsel. I'm sure he will have counsel of his own. He'll be advised of the charges. He'll enter a plea, presumably of not guilty. They'll set bail. He'll be released. There probably will be little or no bail. But Jake, I have to remark on this. I mean, the notion of Jim Comey, a guy who was the deputy U.S. Attorney General, the number 2 person in the Justice Department. He was the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. He was the director of the FBI. Having to sit at the criminal defendants table is a remarkable moment. I don't mean that in a positive or negative way, but it's a shocking moment. I said, look, I started at the Southern District of New York months after Jim Comey left. I don't know him well. I've only met him a couple times, but he was revered within the Justice Department when I was there. I mean, he was seen as a giant, as somebody who had had an exemplary career. Now, he did things later that were more controversial around the 2016 election, but I'm sure it's going to be a shocking, humbling moment for Jim Comey to have to sit at that criminal defendants table in a federal courtroom.
How useful for his defense are President Trump's comments? One of the things that's been so remarkable about just the past week in the Trump administration is the open and brazen nature by which the president and his aides and appointees are calling for revenge against the president's perceived political enemies. We saw Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman, calling on local affiliates, ABC affiliates, to tell Disney, ABC they were no longer going to air Jimmy Kimmel Live because they don't like the speaker, they don't like the speech. Then, like within days, President Trump openly firing a U.S. attorney who didn't bring these charges, bringing somebody in who has no prosecutorial experience, and openly telling his attorney general, I want these 3 political enemies indicted. I'm paraphrasing, but they are all guilty as hell is not a paraphrase. He did say that.
So first of all, I promise you Justice Department prosecutors will hate and regret the fact that Donald Trump sent out those true socials, because those statements by the president will absolutely be used by Jim Comey's defense team to argue for dismissal on the basis of selective prosecution. That is a defense. It is recognized. It's really hard to prove because you have to prove that you were singled out for political purposes. People don't usually put their intentions in writing the way that Donald Trump has done. So that will be a motion. I would look for Jim Comey's team to make that motion really quickly. And I think they've got a very good shot. I think they're going to get some traction given the overt statements. And the second point, Jake,
before you get to your second point, let me just remind people, he wrote this on Saturday night to the Attorney General, posted on Truth Social, Pound Bounty, quote, Pam, I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time, all talk, no action, nothing's being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia, meaning Letitia James? They're all guilty as hell. Now, we don't know if charges for Schiff and Letitia James are coming But sources told CNN today the charges could be coming soon for another Trump opponent, former National Security Advisor John Bolton. Anyway, go back to what your second point you were about to make. I just want to remind folks of this uncharted waters in which we find ourselves.
Well, that's exactly where I was going, Jake. I mean, I think it's worth reflecting. The Justice Department of the Trump administration have crossed a line here. They have done something that we've never seen before, which is an explicit order from a president, and you just showed the True Social, to his attorney general, to his Justice Department, to go after, to criminally charge the